Hello, and welcome to another Reputation Rehab podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benevent, and today I'm once again joined by Tiffany Lu. Tiffany, how you doing there?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me again.
Always,
So
absolutely,
nice to
yes.
meet you.
Yes, it is. No, it's good to be here. It's as you can see, we're early on in these things and doing. That's how I have what I guessed is a background. Tiffany made the decision to just go with her place, which is much better, which is probably what I should have done. So, all right. So, yeah.
Yes,
So it's
right.
no, it
Mhm.
looks nice. It's what I should have done up. Well, okay. So yes, I guess the place to start is just sort of let the folks listening and watching get to know you a little bit better there, Tiffany. Like, what's your background there?
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I am a marketing assistant at Website Depot. My responsibilities for Reputation Rehab specifically include writing and publishing blogs that promote our services, coming up with engaging social media posts, managing Web 2.0 properties, and etc. So, a little bit about my educational background. I've dedicated my undergrad studying psychology
Mm.
and mental health. Yeah, so I aim to destigmatize mental health and substance abuse disorders by connecting the right resources to the people who need them the most. My extensive background in human behavior, human cognition, and psychology is a strong foundation for understanding some of the mental health disorders, especially understanding the risk factors, the processes, the stages. So hopefully I can help allocating the right resources to the right people. I do want to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, therefore I cannot like give you a concrete diagnosis. However, I can help identify the potential risk factors that
Mm.
are present for the disorders and repetition rehab, and I can work with you to provide the right call of actions and just let you know that we're here for you.
No, that's great. And as ever, for those of you listening, no podcast can make a diagnosis. That's not a good idea. That's not just
No.
Tiffany. That's all of us. So, but
Yeah,
what I
want to
was
make
very
that
interested.
clear.
Yes, no, I'm so glad you said that. I really, really am. I guess that it's interesting because one thing you said that struck me was I was wondering what are some of the stigmas that you still see even in the year 2021, because
Mm.
as I was listening to you talk, I was thinking, wow, it's I felt kind of out of touch myself. I'm thinking, geez, are there still stigmas attached to mental health disorders and addiction and that kind of thing? And after I heard you talk, I'm thinking, geez, there must be. So I was wondering, what are some of those stigmas that you still see popping up even in this current year?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's very mental health. The field of mental health is still a very sensitive and stigmatized subject, and even in 2021. But it's getting better, and some of the
Mm.
stigma include that it is a disease, and yet you're very unfortunate to have it. That it's not common for people to go get help, which is totally not true. We need to. It is more common than we think. It is part of our life, and it's not something to be ashamed of. There's always help around. Embrace it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a lovely sentiment. The idea of embracing it
Mm.
there. The other thing, and I'm not 100% sure this is apropos, but I feel compelled to ask about it. Is in your prior answer, you'd mentioned something about, while obviously you can't make the diagnosis, you can help make someone more aware of risk factors. I was wondering exactly what you meant by
Mm.
that, or maybe some examples.
Yeah, so there are a lot of potential risk factors that contribute to drug addiction. Maybe it's to do with the environmental factors, the social who are you around with, where do you
Mm.
live, your lifestyle. They could also be identified as risk factors. Yeah, I could help point them out, but again, cannot fully diagnose someone.
100%. No, that's
Yeah.
great. Okay, so we've established who you are, and we've gotten part of why you're here. I guess the next question then is that with this background you have, what is it that led you to Reputation Rehab.
Yeah, so I was really impressed with the combinations between mental health disorders and digital marketing. I think it's a very
Mm,
refreshing aspect that Reputation Rehab is doing. So we are a digital marketing service that focuses on developing successful and effective marketing strategies for rehabilitations and recovery facilities. We are a team of digital marketing professionals who have years of experience in web development, online advertising, social media marketing, and more. So our approach is to focus on establishing a successful online presence. We find new ways to implement digital marketing resources in the
mm,
particular context of rehabilitation marketing. So yeah, in short, to summarize, we are the bridge between connecting the right resources to the right people who need the most help. And we do this by focusing on rehab marketing.
okay. No, I mean, as someone that works there too, no, that makes so much sense. I mean, that's what, we're trying. It's one thing is, over time, so much of the work we were doing, we just found ourselves with so many clients that do, that are rehab facilities that are out there helping people that we realized like, okay, this is not something that, while it may not have been how we necessarily planned things, it is not something that occurred by accident. So thus we've built this
No.
other branch so that it could better cater to those clients. And I guess on that same topic, there's a question. I know I've seen a few of these myself. I'd be curious to get your take on it. Is what are some maybe mistakes or maybe some things that rehab facilities and the like mistakes they've made in their own digital marketing or things that you've kind of
Mhm.
come across that hey they could do better in your travels there.
Yeah, so I think I've I'm not really I've not seen a really big mistake yet,
Mm,
but I've heard stories where rehab facilities maybe not really be specific, just being vague in their
mm,
marketing
mhm.
campaigns, which can be a problem for targeting specific audience. So really know your audience, your market, make your content in a way that's very specific to them so that they can relate.
No, no, no. That's right. Because
Yeah.
as you were saying that's so similar to the one I've seen, which is, and it's interesting because it's something that doesn't even until you kind of think about it a bit register as a mistake. Is the idea that a lot of these rehab facilities don't necessarily take it seriously or like don't
Mhm.
see it as something that they have to do, that the idea of marketing in a digital space or in some cases marketing at all is a thing
Yeah.
that they need to really advance with. And another one I've seen, and boy, I absolutely understand the sentiment and the thought process behind it, is the idea of some of these facilities trying to do it themselves.
Oh no.
Right. In many ways, it goes counter to the thought process that so many of these rehab facility professionals use in their actual job. Like they wouldn't have
True.
someone that was unprofessional or just doing it themselves come in and assist with any other part of their process. Whereas they would
Yeah.
understand to use professionals for the lighting, for the equipment, for the drugs and the whatnot. Whereas with this, it's, okay, we're just going to set it up. Okay, so so you and I are speaking right now in very early February, so I'm not sure if this is necessarily the right time to ask you this question, but where do you kind of see, if not predictions, then at least trends you see starting to build or potential for the rehab facility marketing coming up here in 2021?
Yeah, so it's still a bit early to tell, but
Mhm.
I can still maybe put out some predictions out there. So
Sure.
last year we focused on the pandemic and how that has really affected a lot of people mental health and the remote working culture. And maybe so this year, as the pandemic is hopefully going away with
Hmm.
all the development of vaccines and
Right.
everything. So
Mhm.
rehab facilities can focus on the post-pandemic consequences, such as
Mhm.
transitioning back to the just our normal life before
Sure.
pandemic, and maybe the yeah, just focusing on the transitioning and the changing stages of our routines and everything.
No, that's great. That's such a good point. Well, yeah, no, that's all great, Tiffany. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to anyone watching or listening today? It's okay if you didn't. You said quite a bit, but if there's anything else,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to emphasize on the difference between repetition rehab and other. We
Hmm.
are utilizing, we have a lot of things or that we aim to achieve in 2021 for repetition rehab. One of them is to expand the reach of our niche portfolio. We want to utilize our growing market, our growing network of treatment centers, rehabs, mental health professionals to benefit one another through more linkings, more social engagement, more referrals, and etc. We also want to expand and onboard more specialized writers who are well versed in and research through the intricacies of treatment, addictions, mental health topics, and more. So we aim to do this on a client by client basis to address the uniqueness of our clients' offerings and services.
Well,
Mhm.
that's all fantastic, Tiffany. Thank you for coming on here with us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, and for more information, please visit our main website, reputation.rehab, and you will find all of our social media accounts to learn more about what we do here and the services that we offer.
That's great. Well, thank you. Well,
Mhm.
on behalf of the rest of us here at Reputation Rehab, my name's Greg Benevent. Take it easy. Have a good night.